Hi, Stuart Bruce here, and I am the Spare Time Property Investor. In these podcasts, I'm going to share tips, tricks, and lessons that I've learned and will hopefully help you, especially if you're still working the 9 to 5. Hello, and welcome to another Spare Time Property Investor podcast. When I first started this, I thought I would share some information, some of the lessons I've learned and all that sort of business, and interview people who had 9 to 5 jobs. Maybe they would work in offices, or at the extreme end, maybe they'd have their own business. I did not think I was going to interview somebody like the guy I'm interviewing today. That is Daniel Budden. Budden? He is an elite athlete. It didn't even cross my mind that I'd end up speaking to people like him who have to be at the absolute pinnacle of their sport and invest in property on the side. And it's fascinating speaking to him about how he manages to balance his sport and property. So without wasting any more time, here is the interview. Thank you so much for joining me, Dan. I've been really looking forward to this interview because you've got quite an unusual day job. I'm fascinated to understand how you manage to fit property in around your training and competing as a professional sailor. So if you could talk me through the details of your kind of normal week and how you fit property around that would be great.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. First podcast, so hopefully it'll be a good one. Basically, yeah, so I'm a professional sailor as part of the British sailing team. As I was basically saying before we came on, I basically train most weeks, Monday to Wednesday at the moment. Usually it's a bit longer. But the way I kind of manage it is, like I said, I basically have a meeting in the morning with my business partners, and I like to structure the day of how so when I'm doing training or when I'm doing the property kind of stuff, and really like section out the day. And that kind of allows me to, one, switch off in the evenings kind of thing, which is like really important for my sailing. And then two, it also gives me the opportunity so I can actually spend enough time on the property and then the sailing. Like normally we train Monday to Thursdays, like I say, Monday to Wednesday at the moment. And I train for 3 weeks of the month. And then for a week of the month, like 10 days, so a bit longer in the week, I go home. And that's when I do like most of my property stuff. Home for me is in the northwest, in Cheshire and Nantwich, and that's I invest in Chester, Crewe, and Leeds. So all my investments are up north, and then I train down south. So I go home, and then that's when I do all my viewings and stuff like that. But we'll probably get into later about I have quite a good team behind me that enables me to get viewings done when I'm not actually able to do viewings myself. Yeah. But structuring the day and doing the meetings in the morning allows me to factor in when I can do calls and stuff, because the worst thing is if I go sailing for a day and miss loads of calls, it's like, oh no, I've just lost out on loads of deals. And it's like, oh no. But if I structure the day really well, it means obviously I can get the calls in where I can, and I can tell business partners, I can work with them on what I need to do, kind of as and when really. But that's kind of roughly how I kind of fit it in, yeah.
Okay, so you batch those kind of times together, but also you have that week every month, so you can go back up and work in your area.
Really focus on it, for sure, yeah. So I'll batch when I'm training, it's like Monday to Thursday. It's like usually, I like batch little bits of time throughout the day. So I'll probably be spending, could be like 2 to 4, maybe 4 to 5, like 5 hours or something on property kind of in the day. Obviously, sometimes you just end up looking at like any properties and doing random stuff at night. But, like usually, I try to coordinate around my sailing during the Monday to Thursday. Friday pretty much is like a day of property most days. It allows just to really like hammer anything before the weekend. And then Saturday and Sunday, the mornings of Saturdays, I'll do like a little bit of property again, just because sometimes some letting agents work and stuff like that. But then end of Saturday and like Saturday afternoon and Sunday, just completely time off. One of the massive things that only recently I've learned is just like time off so important, especially being like an elite athlete and in my business. Like I burn out really fast. I like to keep busy, hence why I do property and sailing. And I want to be successful and whatever.
Of course, yeah.
Now it's very like detrimental to everything. So I'm learning to try and switch off. So like Sundays and Saturdays, I try and like completely like don't do any business, but it doesn't normally end up that way.
I was just going to say, I mean, I think that's a good lesson for a lot of people to learn, to be fair. But it's pretty hard, I'm sure. Yeah. So you have your training and then you have your property. Do you do any other like kind of exercise to keep kind of your fitness levels up before you do your training, or is that incorporated into your training time?
Yeah, so we have like the best way to keep like, because it's quite a demanding sport. Like you could be burning up to like, if it's really windy, I think my max was like, I was burning like 1,200 calories an hour or something.
Right, okay.
It was like really windy, but it is like really demanding sport. But like we always have like, it's really weird. You can be like sailing fit, but like not like really fit, like like cycling fit or whatever. But we do, as other training, we normally in the gym. At the moment, we're just doing like body weight and circuits back at home because our gym's closed. And then we do have like a private gym down in Weymouth, but we usually do weight training 2 times a week. And then we also do like other forms of fitness like cycling, surfing as well. I love it. It's just like, it's like fun and it's good. So we usually cycling. So fitting it all in's like, I just stick to a weekly planner and I'm happy. Like when I'm gonna do what and I'm happy.
I just can't imagine how much how much training and stuff you need to do to keep up to that level. I've seen the pictures on Instagram; they look amazing, and the videos you've posted and stuff like that, it just looks incredible. The boat's barely in the water. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's like so I have like basically 2 boats. I sail the 49er, which is my Olympic class, which is like the one with the big like yellow sails. And that's the one that I just travel around the world with. Sail with my sailing partner, and then I have what's called the Moth, which is the thing like the black one that flies out the water.
Yeah.
And that's like recreational sailing. So that's like just me going out and not like doing anything towards my Olympic campaign, but just having fun and yeah. I'd learn lots on that. But that's like recreational side of things. But it's not every day you get to do what you love and like hopefully go to the Olympics with it and
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Really lucky position to be in.
So is that so you're saying looking to do the Olympics? Obviously you do other competitions. So there's 2 questions here, I suppose. You're obviously working towards the Olympics. So when do you know that you'll be included in that, or is it still up in the air?
Yeah, no. So basically, what the squad we're in at the moment is called the Olympic Podium Potential Squad.
Oh yeah.
For 2024, and you basically find out. The idea is ultimately there's like loads of events throughout the year, but like the main ones like the World Championships and obviously like the European Championships and stuff like that, which you use like in the summer. Next year they're in Oman in like November, but basically you compete against like the world, etc., and like your own within your team and your own nation to try and basically qualify for the games. 2 years out, there's something called the ISAF Worlds, which is the point where you qualify the country for like the British, so that the British sailing team for the game. And about a year out, they pick the best British boat to go. And there's a number of like qualifications, but then like it's like a year out, it's like 2023, we'd know if we're going in the games or not.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like right now, we're in the picking kind of thing. Like we're in like the bunch that's going to like potentially going to go in the Olympic Podium Potential Squad, and it's just about who can be the best in 2022, 23 kind of thing.
Very exciting. Very exciting. So then the other side of it then, so you go off and you do your competitions and stuff like that. So how much time out do you have to take, and how does that impact on your property? Because it's not just a normal 9 to 5 day job, is it? You have your training, but then obviously you have to go away and do your competitions and stuff like that. So what happens when you're off doing that? Does it all kind of stop, or?
I actually got my first Rent to SA unit when I was at my Worlds last year.
Okay.
It's basically, like I say, having like the team around me. Like, we'll get into that. Basically, my dad's in property anyway, and that's how I got into it. So my business partner is, my SA business is 50-50 with my mum, and that's kind of how I started the funding as well. I went 50-50, and my dad and mum don't know that much about Rent to SA, but my dad knows a lot about property, and I was basically like, I was on the phone and stuff, and it's kind of, I could switch off, but I kind of don't want to. I quite like keeping busy, and like I was like progressing my property whilst I was also at World Championships. And it was almost like a way to switch off from sailing, because World Championships are like pretty intense. Because I mean, like, it's, if you do, the better you do, the more funding you'll get, etc. And the better you're going to do long term. So yeah, I'd say I switch off and don't think about it, but I just most of the day-to-day systems and stuff are like outsourced, have a good deal pipeline and stuff, but I'll just kind of focus on different things, because obviously I won't be able to ring in estate agents, but I will be able to analyze deals, like do emails and stuff like that. So it was like, takes a bit of a back burner, but I think I don't switch off as such. I just do different parts of the business. So like my business partner in our sourcing company, like just doesn't enjoy deal analysis. Like just it takes so long. But when I'm away sailing, it's quite nice just I can just flick through a few deals. I love doing the numbers, so I just kind of run through a couple of numbers, and like that's something that's benefiting my business, but also helping me switch off a little bit. So yeah, I'd love to say I'd switch off, but I just can't.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, that's kind of how I manage it.
Cool. Are you working on any investments at the moment, or has COVID kind of hampered things?
Yeah, so the situation at the moment, I got my first rent to SA in November 2019.
Yeah.
And it took a bit of time to sort out because I was literally at my World Championships, wasn't in the country. But that's like going really well now. And like obviously initially February, March was amazing. April was like it all came crashing down. And contractors that were in the property, they left the property, and like we made a loss for April. But I was like, that's the end of service accommodation. But actually no, I got on the phone, rang some NHS people. They got on the phone to accommodation officer, and there's been a key works in the accommodation ever since.
Oh, great.
So actually, like, started really bad, but now things are starting to open again. I've got contractors and more direct bookings coming in. We're taking on potentially or two more like are going through contracts at the moment on rent service accommodation. We're just waiting on them being signed, and then we've got two more in the pipeline that my mum's viewing next week for us. So like we're looking to expand basically because the demand's there. And like service accommodation, that's my main strategy with 53 Degrees property. And then my other strategies are sourcing buy-to-let investments.
Yeah.
That didn't really get affected, to be honest with you. The investors got I'd say most investors were a bit wary of whether to buy, etc. But now it just seems that like everyone's buying everything so fast in the property world. Like I was doing like, I get sent deals by agents like just before they go on the market kind of thing, like, you know, when you have the relationship and stuff.
Yeah.
As soon as you're on the market, they're gone. Like it's
I've noticed the same. They seem to be really cracking on, don't they?
Yeah, like it's really cracking on. I'm just like, oh my, I send it out to investor. The next day it's already gone. I'm like, what the? And literally, I'm like, I just have to offer it and hope the investor's gonna buy it long term. Like that's what I do now. But I'd say that it was like initially it went from like, oh no, service accommodation's not going forward, and then actually it was fine. And that kind of showed that the service accommodation is like a pretty good strategy to like get through everything. And the investing side of things, the sourcing side, like I say, initially it was like a bit, people were like, I want bigger discounts, etc. But actually now it's like, well, if you're investing long term, if there's a dip, there's a dip. But ultimately down the line anyway, you're gonna be in the money kind of thing. So, but like I say, everyone seems to be buying up big time. So we're just trying to get as many deals as we can out to our investors.
Yeah, that's good. And it's good you can kind of share that longer term perspective with people in terms of, you know, once you ride it out, it will have a longer term benefit.
I mean, yeah, we have I'm doing basically my first flip / buy-to-let myself. And it's like, everyone's like, don't do a flip in the current market. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough. Like, but we're going to do it. And then at the end, we'll review we no one knows what's going to happen. Like, that's the kind of thing. There might be a dip, there might not be. There might be a huge dip, there might be a small dip, there might be a really, no one knows.
Yeah. No crystal balls.
Like, yeah, exactly. So I'm just kind of like, well, I've got a good property here. It's on paper, it's an amazing flip. Ultimately, if we get to the end of the refurb and we get it revalued and like we can't sell it, we'll just buy to let it.
Yeah.
And we'll ride it out, and it works as a buy to let. So happy days, and there'll be a good amount of equity left in. So it's kind of like,
and that's it.
It's one of them.
Yeah, as long as you've got a couple of exits, you know, you're okay, really, aren't you? It's just, you know, you've got your preference, obviously, flipping it on, but if it still stacks as a buy to let, well, you're okay, surely. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So with basically, I've got that's like a personal one I'm doing with my dad as well, which is like for my personal portfolio, which would be cool. Really cool. That's
really good. So the next question is about how you funded your first deal and then your current deals as well. You've already kind of made reference to that, but you know, so you're obviously heavily involved with your parents by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Is that your main kind of source of kind of investment funds?
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. I was really I'm really skeptical about like getting investing off my parents. Don't really like the idea of it.
Yeah.
Like I'm just kind of giving to on a plate, and they didn't really like it either. So basically, what I did was the first essay. I was like initially in November 2019, what I was gonna do was like do the essay but give them all the profits kind of thing. But I actually I had a lot of money in my savings, and I was like, you know what, win or swim attitude. Like, we're gonna put it in there, and at least if it's my money in the deal, then I'll know.
Okay.
I'll put it in. Like, I'll just make sure, like, you know, really like drive to make it work. Like, it's my life, like skin in the game kind of thing. So put my savings into the first deal. I went 50-50 with my mum, and happy days. That was how I funded my first deal. And now it's like, now we've got investors who we source for. Obviously, the sourcing profits can help with generating SAs, but the more experience I've got in SAs, like the deals at the moment that we're signing contracts on, won't really cost us anything because we're using tiny bit of profit from what we've made anyway, and then we've got rent-free periods, we've got bookings coming in before it's even started, and stuff like that. So like me being more educated and more confident enabled us to actually make it cost a lot less to start a deal anyway. But the initial investment, was the first one went to SA was with 50-50 of my mum, my savings, and then her as well. And then the way I got into it, like I say, my dad, I'll tell you how I got started basically.
If you could,
like I said, my dad's in property, so I was always exposed to it at university. And like I was in the real estate society, and I was like, this is really cool. When he like gave me a few books to read. I think the first book I read was like the Property Investing Secrets one, the 44 most closely guarded property investing secrets. By Rob Moore. I read that. I got halfway through and I stopped. I'll be honest with you. It was like really, really, really educating, but I just got a bit bored. I wanted like hands-on stuff. Saying that anyway. My dad's an accountant, and I was looking for ways to do property, obviously with not a lot of money, because I only had a little bit in savings. I had like $3,000 in savings from like all the years of birthdays or whatever. And I was looking for ways to get into property without a lot of money. And a guy that my dad did accounts for, a guy called Dave Goodfellow, who's actually now my mentor, was doing Rent to SA at the time. And I got on a few calls with him, read a couple of books. I read like No Money Down Property Investing, flicked through that, and that was like Rent to Rent as well. Service Accommodation Success Manual. And basically, got on the phone with Dave, and like he started to tell me things, and I was like, right, hands on. The best way to learn is just getting into it. So just once I felt that I knew a little bit enough, and had him kind of supporting me. It wasn't my mentor at that time, but he was helping me out a little bit. We went from there, and that's how I basically got into it. I just started ringing estate agents and started analysing deals, and then got my first one over the line, and that was that. I was in it.
That sounds great. I think it's so good as well that you were able to use what your dad already knew, but also this mentor you've got as well, and be able to kind of have the confidence to get on the phone to him, like pick his brains, like go through everything, and that's brilliant.
I think that's one like benefit. I'm in the Future Minds network, which is like a network of young individuals like in property. And like one massive thing I was talking about yesterday, which I was on a call, was like I felt like at the start I could get a lot, because I was a bit younger. I'm 21, but I could get like a lot of free information just by being like, just being bold and being like just chatting with people and getting that network. And it was massive. I mean, I pay him now, like he's now my actual mentor. But and getting that initial first information, I was just like, I feel like I can do it, and I just went for it, and it worked all right. I mean, I made some mistakes, but
there is something about being your age when you're doing something like this, or anything really, because I think the energy level and the excitement and the confidence that you kind of just have when you're kind of your age, regardless of what you're doing, and you've obviously built up a lot of knowledge and experience and stuff like that. But you're able to channel that into something really positive, which is fantastic. Because a lot of people at your age are channeling it into rubbish. So it's great you're able to do it.
No, I appreciate that. It's
brilliant.
I love it. Like I've been able to do, but like we'll get into it later. Like I went through like a phase of like trying to pick between like sale and property. But I was like, actually, I can do both, and I love both. And like as long as like some of my investors absolutely love the fact that I'm a potential Olympic athlete. Like they absolutely love that. I'm like, fair. And I meet so many people in sailing who want to do property and vice versa. Like, so I mean, they just kind of like merge together. And now I found quite a good balance, which is great.
But what I think that shows is you've got a level of discipline and dedication that is necessary to be successful in pretty much anything really. So if you've got yourself to that level in terms of being an elite athlete, it shows that actually you're not just some waster sat on your ass, doing nothing. So
again, I get what for sure. Like I think I was like, what about if people think I'm doing more property than selling or more selling than property? And I was going through it in my head, but actually I've just been like, look, this is who I am. I know I'm going to be successful in both of them. Like, I'm going to put all my effort into both of them, be determined. And like you said, it's like almost already shown kind of thing. And like, as long as people know exactly what I'm doing, I'm open with everyone kind of thing. And it's just, I'd say only recently I've found that balance, like perfect harmony kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's been really good. Yeah. And that's really great to have kind of thing.
So the next kind of question is about how you obviously got a very busy life. So what are your kind of 3 top tips for investing in property around your sailing?
Yeah. So I've touched on it a little bit about like having an amazing team. I'd say number 1 is having like an amazing team around you. Like I have a business partner called Dave Bennett in Leeds, who's my business partner in my sourcing, and now he's also in my SA as well. And then I have my mum, who's my business partner in my SA business, and my dad is also my business partner in my in my sourcing business. But like whether they are my parents or not, kind of thing, but having like a team around you that's going to be like really close knit and like you can rely on and trust and stuff. One of my massive things is like I find it really hard. I'm not controlling, but I want everything to be done perfect, like really well.
Yeah.
And I want it to be my standard, but like being able to like let some things go and give it to someone who's like going to do just as good job and trust them to do it. Like my mum does all the interior design and stuff of the SA unit. She does the guest messaging service, guest services.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, we're going to take on a VA, and that's going to be like outsource the whole booking system, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And then having the daily calls with my dad and the business partner, and my Dave Bennett, who's also my business partner in the sourcing side of things, then it just means I can align the goals and stuff. And like having that team around me, it means, okay, Dan, this is what you need to do today. You need to call this, and then they can. I'm like, look, I can't do this. Can you guys do this? And it's like when I'm out on the water, my mum's got access to my emails. So if there's any emails urgent that come through, we found this out the other day, basically. An urgent email came through and we didn't reply to it, which is annoying. We lost the deal. But what we do is basically, she has access to my emails, and then she can like any important emails she just reply to. And I've just got to trust her to kind of like do that.
Yeah.
Have an amazing team around you is the first one. The second one is be realistic, and like you don't need everything like right now at once. Again, this is something that recently I've like figured out. One of the things that I wanted everything like right now, and like I wasn't just, and like it's like you get into it, you're like that's going well, you want everything, you want it all right now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like realistic. Like ultimately, my goal is the Olympics in 2024. I'm going to be spending this much time on sailing. This is the realistic amount I can spend on property, and then having that team around me, like distributing the tasks. And just being realistic with what you can do, not like I can fit all this in and then end up working until, like I said before about the downtime, like you don't want to work until you can't work anymore and then crash out and then you're like, oh no. So being realistic with expectations, and then also like, you don't need everything at once.
Absolutely.
And then the last one is outsource everything fast and enjoy what you're doing what you love kind of thing. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to take on a VA. Oh, I think you've hit.
Oh yeah, no, you just
glitched out.
Yeah. So you're going to take on a VA? Did you say?
1 second. Let me see if it comes back. Are we good now?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah. So you last point was you're going to take on a VA.
Yeah, indeed. So outsource everything fast and enjoy doing what you love. Like we're outsourcing we've outsourced our marketing at the moment.
Okay.
Our like direct to vendor marketing, stuff like that, quite urgently because it took a lot of time and I was best at it kind of thing. And then emails I've basically outsourced to my mum, but I'm sure she's fine with that. She doesn't mind. And then like the whole booking side of things and that we're outsourcing to a VA to kind of like take that off. And also we're outsourcing the deal analysis side of things as well. So many deals are coming through. Like basically worked out a way that we can outsource that as well, which is just like data entry really. Like recording videos on Loom and just like sending to VAs to do, just because it gives you so much time to, especially if you're trying to balance investing and something else. So just been like trying to outsource lots of things. You always review it at the end,
of course,
but it just means that you've done all like the you don't have to put in all the market comparables kind of thing, and do all the data entry stuff. So yeah, outsource everything faster than usual,
That's
and
great.
enjoy what you love. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're very very good tips actually, and they're also very kind of they're tips of someone I would expect to hear from somebody who's been in it for a bit longer. So are you taking influence from your mentor and your dad and stuff like that? Are they kind of helping you to?
Definitely, I think like my mentor's got over 30 like SA units and like in a management company stuff, and my dad's done like a lot of buy-to-let like investments over the years kind of thing, done developments and bought everything from auction to whatever. And I think like having seen what my mentor has now in his SA business, I can see what works, and I know I'll get there.
Yeah,
it's going to take a little bit of time with the system and stuff like that. And then just like the other two, like the being realistic, and then like the outsourcing stuff is kind of the being realistic was just like a personal one where I've really just realized it recently. Like I'm not going to be able to get everything right now, and I don't need everything right now. Like
no, you've got time.
Like enjoy the journey. Yeah, like enjoy the journey. Like do what you love and just kind of like do both, and what will be kind of thing. And like as long as you put as much effort as you want to put into it, you're going to get out what you put in. So it's kind of like that's like a personal one that's really just hit home recently.
I think that's right.
And then the last one, outsourcing. I think we've just started to outsource my like certain tasks like the emails and the analysis, and like it's taken so much time off that I'm like that is just got to be the way forward if we're gonna make it all hands off kind of thing.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, great. That's really good. Cool. Okay, so the next one is: have you got any top business or property books that you'd recommend to other people or have helped you along the way?
Yeah.
Obviously not 44 Secrets because you only got halfway through it, but
yeah, no, I haven't finished that, so I probably should finish that soon. But anyway, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I know everyone says it, but that is such a good book.
Yeah.
Oh my, that is just like life changing. Like you read that and you're like, that's it. I'm ready to rule the world. So that's like amazing. I'd say. Specific to property, I think No Money Down Property Investing was like a really easy read, and like it's a really like nice way into it.
Is that a Kevin McDonough? Or
yeah, and it's just it's a really easy read, and it just does like all the strategies like really simply. So
it's
just
a good
like
book.
Yeah, rent to rent, like lease options, like exchange and late completion, like it's just did sales, and that's just like a really small book and like simple to read through. But Rich Dad Poor Dad's like such a good like mentally and just the way you see things is
I think people should be given one as they leave school or something. It's like, read that.
You should just give someone Rich Dad Poor Dad like on the last day of like A levels or something.
Yeah.
Like GCSEs as a gift.
Yeah.
Like the school gives out Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it just changed the world.
Definitely. Yeah, it's an amazing book, and so many people are inspired by it. It is an incredible book.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe lots of people wouldn't go to university. They might just rent it.
Yeah.
But like, such a good book. Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so then next, have you got any top tools that you use, software or whatever, to help you manage everything?
Yeah, we use I'd say like a life it's like Trello.
Okay.
And that's like got our deal pipeline on, and it's also got our systems for SA and stuff like this. Like that is just like Trello's like you can use Asana like for tasks, but we do our in Trello so it's all in one place. And like the deal pipeline is just so satisfying. It's all automated. We have like a form that gets filled out and it goes straight into Trello, and just watch the whole process unfold. And like just got checklists, and it just makes it so much easier. And it's really satisfying when it's all done because it's just all nicely in columns, in lists, in cards, and it's just all your information just in one place. I had stuff in Google Drive and spreadsheets on my files on my laptop, not on Google. And it was like all over the place. Whereas now it's like, because you can even like attach all the photos, all the attachments, everything in Trello.
Yeah.
Because it's linked to Google Drive, and I've just been like, everyone put everything on Trello. That's like happy days. And then we also link that to Slack as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you get notified when someone's like doing something in Trello. And then so it's like really easy. So I know if like my business partners know if I'm doing something with the acquisitions or if they're doing something with deals, etc. And you get a notification saying offer sent in on this, offer sent in on this, like accepted, rejected, and it's just so simple. And there's a really satisfying like Power Up, it's called on Trello, where you get a map and it's got a map of all your deals.
Okay,
Like,
I've not seen
and
that.
it's just like, yeah, really cool. And it's like a little Power Up map, and you can put a location for each of the cards. And you literally click on the map. It's just so satisfying. There's like little
sounds cool,
blue marks everywhere of like all your deals, and you can see where the dead ones are, like stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it's really. I think Trello is like a massive one for there.
That's something I use Trello, but I was looking at some videos yesterday about different tips and stuff like that. So I'm getting deeper into it. I think it's a really good bit of software, really great.
Once you start doing some Butler tools, which is like automation on it, like and then if you link that with like Zapier and stuff, like the opportunities are in. Like we have like I say, we have a Google form that links to Trello so that it auto fills all the cards details in.
Yeah.
So you can be online, you can just type in the Google form, click submit, and it'll put a card in Trello and stuff like that. And then when you've completed checklist on a card, it'll automatically move and stuff. When you take like viewings, it'll move to this. And like once you get it all automated and you just play around with the butlers, you get on a real hole, but it's just so good. And it's like once you've got, like now it's just so satisfying. Like even just clicking dead lead and it moves to the dead lead column, and like that's just it's just cool. It's like such a good.
Oh. Hello.
Oh, we're back again.
Oh, yeah, you're back. Yeah, you were just saying, you were just kind of finishing up, I think, about how great Trello is. So
it's just so good. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's really good. And like I say, I'm getting deeper into it now. So yeah, but it's like you like you were saying, like it's a bit of a hole. You kind of go and go and go, but at least at the end of it, you have a system that works.
I love the system that's just really.
Yeah. So it's worth it.
So much like using that with like Zapier, which to link it to like every single app there is on the market.
Yeah.
It's just so like you can use it. I know like a lot of people use like Podio and stuff like that, but like Trello's just so visual. Like it's just that's what I love about it. Like with the covers and the cards and everything like that, it's just so visual and it just makes it so much easier.
Cool. Sure. So now we have the last couple of questions. This one I've changed a little bit. These last two because I'm getting bored of saying the same thing. So this one, if the world changed forever due to the coronavirus, and you had there's two ways of life. First is you're isolated on a beach with no belongings, no money, but there's shelter, food, and the sea. That's the first choice. Or you're isolated in a swanky flat with loads of money, takeaways when you want, massive TV, gym, etc. But you're only allowed out every other day for an hour. Which one would you go for?
Yeah, I'd go for the beach one. I was like, am I like really materialistic and like love all the gym and stuff like that kind of thing? And it took me. I was verging, and then I was like, actually, I can only go out for an hour a day. I was like, no, I'm going out. I'm going to the beach. I'll just chill on the beach, and I think it'd be good for me. I think the downtime would be really good. Just chill on the beach. I can go for a swim and get all the food that I need. So happy as.
Yeah.
So I think desert island would be the one, especially if it's like an apocalyptic world as well.
Absolutely. No, I didn't say what beach. I suppose you kind of assuming from that it's a nice warm beach.
Like hopefully it's not just a pebbled beach in like North Wales or something, and it's just like raining. But hopefully it's a nice Bahamas desert island. I'm thinking. That's what I'm looking for.
Maybe a little surfboard there so you can get some time.
If we go for surf, that would be absolutely ideal. Yeah, but I was like, I don't know. I mean, lockdown's been so weird. They got locked into the room and only allowed out for a little bit of time. I think everyone's like appreciating going outside a lot more.
Definitely.
Like going on walks is like mega.
Yeah, so definitely. Yeah.
I'd have to go outside.
Cool. And then the last one. What do you want to achieve in property and your sailing career in 10 years' time? So what will it look like in 10 years' time, do you think?
I was just doing this before we came on, to be fair. I was trying to like work it out because I just had like no real clue of like what I'd be in 10 years' time. I went to my my goals booklet of what I wrote quite a while ago. But I mean, at least one gold medal, and there'll be 2 Olympic Games in that time for me. So obviously 2024, 2028, at least one gold medal and be an Olympian, because then I'll be Olympian for the rest of my life. And I worked out I think passive income wise, I want to have like at least over $500,000 passive income a year, which would be like sweet. I mean, how old am I? I think I'll be 31. I've always said I wanted to be a millionaire by 26. to have £1 million like in equity or whatever in property would be awesome.
That'd be very nice.
Like that'd be really nice, but I don't know. And that's like the goal. I don't like. I've listened to like Gary V like quite a lot, and he's like he speaks about like not setting like young people setting like really like big goals like that. You put pressure on yourself. But now I did put pressure on myself that, but now it's kind of like that's my goal. But I know I need to do to get there. If I get it, then I'll be happy as maybe a big couple of big deals. I'll be there. But I don't know. But like long term, 10 years time, at least one gold medal, an Olympian. At least, well, I mean, like, £500,000 in passive income a year would be pretty glamour. And I've always wanted to have I've written it down where it's like to own a property, like a holiday let, in a surf location.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, or something. To own, like, a really nice house on a beach, just so that I can go and chill and go surfing. That's just something I've really wanted to have. Like, when I'm 31, I think, that'd be nice to have. And I always had a random one, which was to take my family on a skiing holiday.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah.
I just thought, I've always wanted to take them on a holiday. So skiing would be nice to take them on it. That'd be cool. If I could do that at 31, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, it'd be very good. Very good. It would be great to watch it happen as well, to be honest. Especially as you're, a few years off the Olympics, hopefully. So that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant.
Exactly. It's pretty, I don't know how it's going to play out, but I'm excited to see. And I think that's one of the things, like, it's just, like, I think lockdown was, like, such an eye-opener for me. Like, it made me really, like, think about what I wanted in life and stuff. And, like, literally, like, it just, like, opened my eyes to, like, that's, like, kind of what I want, like, long-term kind of thing. But ultimately, like, just enjoy, like, day-to-day, like, everything you love and, like, don't do something you don't want to do kind of thing. And just really, like, enjoy the journey, like, kind of thing. I think I was, like, so hung up on the fact that like need to get a gold medal Olympics, like I need to get £1 million by 26. But I'm like, that's the goal, but just enjoy the journey, Stop thinking about the end goal too much and like kind of enjoy the processes along the way. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Really.
That's
sounds in really place with regards to like how I want things to pan out, kind of thing.
That's great. Yeah, I mean they're great goals, but like you say, it's important to enjoy it as you go along. So that's it.
Sure.
That's great. So that's the podcast. So thank you so much for coming on. And I'd love to, check in with you in maybe a year's time or something like that, just to see how you're getting on. And I'll put some links and stuff in the description. But if other people want to be able to keep up with you and see how you're getting on, how do they find you? What's the easiest way?
The easiest way is the Property Athlete on Instagram, and you'll be able to basically find all my link tree on there, which has my Olympic team page, my 53 Degrees Property SA business, my sourcing business off-piece property group, and like everything's on there. So the Property Athlete on Instagram, you'll be able to find all my websites and stuff like that. That's
great. Cool. So thank you again. That was really, really cool. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
No worries. Thank you. So there you have it, the interview with Daniel Budden. What an amazing young guy. An athlete, a property investor, getting into serviced accommodation. Really, really take my hat off to him. And be sure to go and have a look at his Instagram. Some of the pictures of him sailing are incredible, let alone his property investing. So next, it's the weekly recommendation. So this week's recommendation was actually prompted by somebody asking what I record and edit my podcasts on. I use Logic Pro. I've used Logic for years doing bits and pieces of music. It's great. It comes with software compressors, software EQs, and you can edit the audio really easily. So it's a great program. It's probably a little bit over the top just for doing this, but I'm so used to using it. So it makes sense for me to use it. I think there's a free version if people wanted to try it. It's a fantastic program. So that's what I use to edit the podcast. So that's it for this week. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please leave me a 5-star review to help other people find it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button.